Let me turn that off before YouTube wants to strike me. I was just listening to that song Rumors. Y'all remember that? Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day. I just need some time to get away from all these rumors. Can't take it no more. My best friend said, "What, I never been the girl next door." Yeah, that was the shit. Remember that? I haven't heard that in years. Hey, everybody. So let's see who we got up in here. Hey, Oro. Diggable Planet, what's up? Glad to see you. We got Chai up in the house. Josh. Wait, let me shout out the Diggable Planets first. So, Oro, Inquiring Mind. What's up, Inquiring Mind? Another Diggable Planet. We got Golden Owl up in here. Another Diggable Planet. Hey, Indigo. Another Diggable Planet. Let's see who else we got. We got Abu up in here. Lala, what's up? Kenyatta. Moonlight Jordan. Nacho Lover. Soft Reset. What's up? Janelle Speaks. Hey, Roma. See, Royalty is up in the house. We got another Diggable Planet up in the house. We got Natasha Sky up in the house with the 444. That's what I'm talking about. Who else we got? We got Rosa Marie, Amira the Great, Star 404, Kingston Bell. Yes, it's about to be live tonight. I got plenty of energy. So hope y'all got some energy too. I don't know how long I'm going to be on live, but I do got some work that I got to finish. So maybe a couple of hours. It's going to take me at least an hour to get through this case study. Now, can anybody guess who this case? You know, I like to play the guessing game. Can anybody take a guess? I will give you a hint. It's nobody in terms of a celebrity. This is somebody dealing with a crime. It's a crime story, and it's dealing with a woman that committed this crime. And it's a crime that's kind of unbelievable, where you like, okay, who does that? But before we get into the case study, I do want to get into some current events. So last time we met up, well, I'll say in the meantime, some things have been going down. Like, I wanted to talk about this Nick Cannon situation. Yeah, she's a Cancer, the chick that I'm going to be doing a case study on. But I want to get into Nick Cannon because he's in the news once again. I mean, this man, he cannot stay out of the news. He always got to be running his mouth about something. Siobhan up in the house. We got another Diggable Planet up in the house. Oh, no, this isn't related to the face readings for Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, shout out to all my patrons. What's up? Shout out to all the Leos. What's up? Leo season, stay tuned. And I am going to get into a little bit of Leo season because there's a Leo I want to talk about for the current events as well. And then let me pull up Nick Cannon's chart to refresh my memory about the fuckery that he just continuously dishes out. I mean, I wish this man would just, somebody need to put some duct tape over his mouth, like for real. Let me pull this fool's chart up. Do I already have it? No, I don't have it up. But he was in the news. I should just play this video. But he's getting some flack off of the comments he made about some of the women. Well, I guess he said 80% of the women. Now, he didn't say 80% of the women he's been with. He made a very generalized blanket statement about women and feminine hygiene. And he basically said 80% of the women he feels are not practicing proper hygiene. And let me just play this clip. I hope it passes the copyright test. This is just for research purposes, YouTube, just in case you're peeking in on us. So let me just pull this. It's a very short video. That's what we are. We all wanna love bizarre. Oh, hold on. The moon of above shines down upon our skin. Who sing that? Whispering words, sing what I name. I don't know the lyrics to that. We all want the stuff that's found in our wildest dreams. Wild dreams. Who sings that? It gets kind of rough in the back of our limousine. Well, Prince wrote it and he sang, the backup, but it was Sheila E's song. Yeah. That's what we are. We all wanna love bizarre. All right, who am I looking at? Nick Cannon. So let me pull up this video of him real quick and share this. He's always running his mouth. He's always saying some shit. Oh, I don't think I shared the sound yet. But I hope everybody's doing well. It's real hot where I'm at. Actually, it's cooled down since the sun went down, but it was hot earlier. All right, let me mute my mic.
We talk about this all the time. Do y'all know when y'all stinking up the room?
Ooh,
I never stunk up a room.
No, he did not. Did y'all hear what Nick Cannon says? He gonna come out here. Why he's always doing this? Says 80% of women is stanky. You know what I'm saying? Need help with feminine hygiene. From who? From you? Girl, I don't know what's going on. Let's play this. Let's play it.
Magnificent 20% that have no smell.
I think
and
I'm
it's
part
fresh.
of the 2% because I definitely agree with
20. It's
no,
a 20.
I'm narrowing it down.
But even because
I'm at the top of that 20%.
And those are the
We up here
keepers.
with that.
Those are the keepers. Those are like, yo, fresh out like
I'm
sitting in
telling
the
you,
shower.
that's
It was
me.
amazing.
If I could
That's
swirl
not
around
normal.
Twirl
and
around.
it's gonna be a nice
That's
taste and
amazing.
everything.
That's amazing, but that's not normal.
Well, it's
I
normal
think
for
it's
me.
normal.
If you eat a lot of fruit,
Trust me.
it's normal for women
But I
like
guess
us
men
who
would know
are
better
aware
than
of
I
themselves.
And this
A
is
lot
the
of women
thing.
aren't aware of themselves.
And maybe
But you hear
present
this,
company
ladies?
excluded. We talk about this all the time. Do y'all know when y'all stinking up the room?
Ooh,
Like,
I never stunk up a
Because,
room.
well, see, as I said, present
I
company.
already know that.
You see
Yeah.
my shocked and appalled face?
but that's the thing because
I have
and you're like,
smelled people stink up the
I
room.
have
and it's like, it'd be
and
some
I've
of the
heard
most
stories about it.
beautiful women. You be like, yo, you
Now, I
got
have a
teams
story
and
one
Right.
time.
stylists. And
This guy I know called me, told me he was having sex with a girl, and the whole room smelled like sewage. That's what he
Yes.
said. He's terrible.
But she be acting like she has no idea. I'm like, I
One time I
cannot
went-
be the only one
But
that
it's like when
smells
you're at
it.
the zoo.
80% of women that probably need assistance when it comes to female hygiene.
All right, so that's Nick Cannon's take on feminine hygiene. So let me just take a look at his chart again to remind myself. I already remember this one conjunction he has in his chart that explains this situation. Actually, it's a stellium he got. Y'all already know what I'm about to say, some of y'all. So let me share my screen and pull up this fool's chart. Now, a lot of us women, we already know about feminine hygiene, and we already know some of the causes of why a woman could have a foul odor. Now, some men may not realize that they could be contributing or be the direct cause of a woman having a foul odor because of what they're doing with other women and just passing these different types of bacteria that's foreign to that particular woman's vagina. And next thing you know, her pH is thrown off balance. And next thing you know, you got a funky town. But what Nick Cannon doesn't understand is that he's creating this toxic soup in the women that he's messing around with. And he must not mind it because he stays around, and the proof is in the pudding. I mean, he has all these children by different women. Now, the main culprit he has with this situation astrologically is he has Mars conjunct Uranus and Scorpio. That's the funk box aspect. But in case of a man in particular, this is like your dick is sick. You got a sick ass dick, bruh. Like, that's what that is. He got all types of bacteria and viruses doing a jitterbug on the head of his penis. And he want to blame these women out here. But with that Mars conjunct Uranus, that could just make him a magnet for STDs, and also a magnet for women that are just prone to have issues with their pH. But that Mars conjunct Uranus and Scorpio, that's him basically changing pHs and shit. And with that conjunction, I'm sure he's in the anal. And he probably the type of nasty ass dude that will, go up a woman's booty hole and then not even wipe his dick off and go up in her coochie. That right there is a perfect recipe for that toxic sludge that will be coming out after the fact. But see, he thinks he's so smart. He thinks he's so intellectual, but he don't even know this simple fact. It's not that hard to learn about these things. But see, he wants to blame himself. And yeah, with that Mars conjunct Uranus, more than likely he goes both ways. So you dipping your dick in every type of glory hole you could find. And you trying to spread your seed all over the place and have these children from all these different women, and you wondering why, it just smell like some type of public toilet when you getting down with these women. He's the cause of that shit. And then for him to voice it, that's his Mercury and Scorpio. He got Mercury squaring his nodes, and that can cause him to say certain things that create, negative responses from others or a backlash, especially with that Mercury squaring that South node. But yeah, his mouth often gets him into trouble, and that Mercury and Scorpio squaring the node says it all. He has Jupiter in Virgo, which can make him very concerned about hygiene. And he has Venus in Virgo too. So, and actually that shows you right there with the Venus in Virgo, that's like he's attracting women that are clean and he's contaminating them. That's what that's about. He's the one creating that toxic soup. So I just wanted to refresh my memory dealing with his ass because he got some damn nerve. He is a hot ass mess. But moving along, so another current event, I just wanted to touch back on that situation with that pastor, the one that got robbed, because one of my dear clients, she got his birth date for me. So I'm going to pull up his chart. First, let's pull up a picture of this dude. I mean, he's an absolute clown. And I believe, like I said before, that robbery was basically set up so that he could either get some insurance money or what have you. Now, what's his name? Yeah, Bishop Whitehead. I got whiteheads all over his damn face. He is a straight up. I want you to take me to Funky Town. I want you to take me to Funky Town. I want you to take me to Funky Town. I want you to take me to Funky Town. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Here's the dude right here. I don't know. I guess that's his wife. But looking like a freaking rooster. What kind of shit? Look at that. I mean, just corny. Whack. And how much money was the jewelry worth that they stole? Denise said, if the dick don't smell like body wash, I don't want it, right? Some of these dudes' dicks be sour as shit. Janelle said, I'm OCD, especially about sex and germs. So am I. Janelle said, Venus and Virgo here. Regina clean like a queen, supposed to maintain, no game. I'll be your power, pleasure, and... Wait a minute, what she say? And feel like steel, so let's keep it real. No, she said like seal. You said looking like a cleaned up chicken George. That's what I'm saying. Yes. He does look like one of them corpses. He looked like one of them corpses that, at the African funeral, and then when the funeral's over, they're doing that dance with the coffin. His wife does look hella young. He probably was messing with her since she was like 14 and shit. He's the type of dude that'll do that. Now, he's a 30 in terms of birth number. Let me pull that up. Now, that 30 deals with religion, but it can also manifest as excess. Where's this fool's chart at? Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. His last name remind me of McFadden and Whitehead. They sang that song. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. All right, so he's a Taurus with that Sun conjunct Chiron and Taurus. First of all, that's why he looking like this. You know, when you got Sun conjunct Chiron, that can produce a special person. And with it being in Taurus, he could dress in a special way. Like he don't have it all up there. Like people might try to figure out, you know, what's this guy's fashion sense about? That's number one. Sun conjunct Chiron could deal with wounds to his self-esteem when he was younger, and it could have been at the hands of his father. Denise said, I got Sun conjunct Chiron. Oh, I'm sorry, Denise. Now, let me know about the type of men you attract, because you may not be the crazy one with that conjunction. It could be the men you attract, or it could be a child that you have, but there's still probably something a little unconventional, a little crazy about you too. But with that Sun conjunct Chiron and Taurus, you got to think about, that's like funny money. That's like funky monkey stuff. Brass funky, that funky monkey. But yeah, Sun conjunct Chiron can produce somebody that, you know, bucks the system in some type of way, tries to get over, doesn't play by the rules, could be deviant in some type of way. Now, because it's a conjunction instead of a square, because I told y'all about that Sun square Chiron, that's even worse. The Sun conjunct Chiron, that's somebody that could still hold it together for the most part, but they're still usually not really walking that straight and narrow path, or there just might be something very strange or unconventional or irregular about that person. Now, he has Sun square Mars and Chiron square Mars. Those squares right there can make an ugly ass person. Now, sometimes in the physical sense, and he doesn't, you know, he's not very cute. He's nothing to write home about, but really ugly in terms of your personality. This is somebody that could be narcissistic, extremely selfish, and somebody that could be potentially violent. And this could be somebody that could abuse a child too. He looked like he could abuse a child. And especially because that Mars is in Leo, he got the Sun to, look, I'm going to tell you how this square could play out. He got, because he's a Taurus and that Sun conjunct Chiron is squaring his Mars in Leo, that's like if one of his kids knock over his grape juice or knock over his beer or his Henny, oh, that kid's going to get it. I feel sorry for the kids that have to deal with him. And he just could be very damaging too to a kid's self-esteem and stuff like that. But that could even go in worse ways too, some inappropriate shit. Somebody did mention that his wife or whoever that woman is looks really young. So I wouldn't be surprised again if he was dealing with her when she was underage, because that Sun square Mars, especially when you throw Chiron into the mix, that can deal with violation of a child. Now, he also has Sun opposition Uranus, and that's representing that robbery, so-called robbery in the church. But because Chiron's in the mix, more than likely it was a fake robbery. This shit was set up to make it look like it was real, but really it wasn't. And again, it could be an insurance scam type of situation, or it could be a way for him to get more money out of his congregation. Now, the interesting thing is he don't have nothing in Sagittarius beyond Neptune. So Neptune's in Sagittarius, but that's generational. But he called himself a pastor, and Sagittarius is the sign of religion. Now, let me look closer at his chart. I got to pull it up on my software. Now, he does have some trines involving Neptune and Sagittarius. He has Saturn trine Neptune and Sagittarius. And that's him basically being this religious, fatherly figure where people even looking at him almost like he's a god in human flesh, basically. Also, and where he's able to wield his authority through religion. His Mercury is in trine in Neptune as well. He could probably quote Bible verses verbatim and shit like that and really get people whipped up into this spiritual frenzy or ecstasy and shit like that with that Mercury trine Neptune, making people think that he's some type of savior. But also that Mercury trine Neptune can make him real slick where he could get away with some scams. Oh yeah, Callie, I am. Can you just hold off on the one card readings until I get into this case study, and then I'll deal with them after the fact. But yeah, he got some messed up aspects. Let me see. He got the Aries South Node, which just makes him come from a place of selfishness. Also, he could be prone to violence. And also just issues with who he is on an individual level. He might feel like he really feel like he can't trust anybody, so he might be the type that's just going to say, I'm going to get you before you get me type of person. And then he has that Aries South Node square in Jupiter, and that could deal with there's something really wrong with his religious beliefs, his faith, where it's basically corrupted by his selfish motives, you could say. And especially his own people with that Jupiter being in Cancer. And he probably teaches this back to Africa shit or this racial pride. And it's interesting that he got Jupiter in Cancer because I am talking about Cancer tonight with that case study. Now, I know it's Leo season, but I didn't get a chance to really get into Cancer during Cancer season because I was dealing with a lot of work. And then I wasn't feeling well during a week. He has Moon in Aquarius. That's another placement that could deal with where he just has that weird, offbeat, just strange type of personality and look. And then he has Moon square Uranus. That can make him objectify women. And that could just make him have this sense of entitlement towards people. But yeah, I definitely see signs of him setting this shit up. He got Venus in Gemini. And that could deal with where he can really be a smooth talker. So that helps him out as well. But yeah, enough about him. Oh, he got that Mercury in Aries opposition Pluto. And that's where he could be under surveillance. And didn't he do some time in jail? Somebody let me know. Didn't he do some time in jail? Because that Mercury opposition Pluto, that's like being under investigation, being under surveillance. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let me move on. All right, let me first get a picture up of this person. I should have had this shit ready. Gonna get a little controversial now. All right, so I know some of y'all might be a little touchy, but we're gonna talk about this anyway because we deal with the real here. To be real, it's got to be real. To be real. All right, this is a good picture to use. Damn, that's a small picture. Hold on, let me try to find a better one. I guess that's the new girlfriend, huh? Is that the new girlfriend? Alright, hold on, y'all. Give me a minute. I'm trying to find a real good picture. Let's do this one. She likes to be naked, I'll tell you that. So I gotta see if she got anything in Aquarius. Why are all these pictures small? Let me stretch this out. All right, this is enough for now, but I'll get more pictures in a minute. And let me get the chart ready. Oh, okay, there it is. Uh-huh. Okay. Y'all probably already saw it. Okay. Brittany Griner. Is that Griner? Some of y'all know who she is. WNBA athlete, superstar in the WNBA. The only one of the very few in the WNBA that gets any attention because hardly anybody watches the WNBA. But yeah, it seems like she's like the one that gets attention, and she likes to be naked. Yeah, so if you haven't heard, Brittany Griner was caught with a hashish pipe, wasn't it? Yeah, she's 6'9". Was caught with a hashish pipe in Japan, right? Or Russia? Wait a minute, where we at? Where was she at? Hold on. Let's pull up a story about this. Now, she was in the news several years ago for a domestic violence incident with her wife. Now, I don't know if they're still married. Okay, so it was Russia. She was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian jail. Let's see if she got 9 in her chart. No, she don't have anything at the 9th degree. And I don't have her birth time, unfortunately. But let me read about it a little bit. WNBA star Brittany Griner sentenced to 9 years in Russian jail for drug smuggling. Early Sunday morning, it was a big ganja smuggling. All right, it says American women's basketball star Brittany Griner was convicted of deliberately smuggling drugs into Russia and sentenced to 9 years of jail time Thursday in a case that has raised concerns she is being used as a political pawn in Russia's war against Ukraine. Judge Anna, it's interesting that they said that. More about my thoughts on this in a minute. Judge Anna Sotnikova of the Chemikin, or whatever that means, City Court delivered the sentence and fined Griner 1 million rubles, or about $16,400. She said the court took, she probably don't have that in her account. She said the court took into account Griner's partial admission of guilt, remorse for the deed, state of health, and charitable activities. Prosecutors had asked that she be sentenced to 9.5 years in jail. That's real stiff. Wow. Prior to the verdict, Griner apologized to the court and asked for leniency and emotional speech. Now, why would she be so stupid to do that? Anyway, I never meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to put in jeopardy the Russian population. I never meant to break any laws here, Griner said. I made an honest mistake, and I hope that in your ruling that it doesn't end my life here. I know everybody keeps talking about political pawn and politics, but I hope that this is far from this courtroom. That is far from this courtroom. I want to say again that I had no intent on breaking any Russian laws. Yes, you did, because you smuggled in the drugs. I had no intent. I did not conspire or plan to commit this crime, she added. Well, after the sentence, first of all, Brittany been lying all her damn life. After the sentence, Griner told a CNN producer as she left court, "I love my family." The verdict comes about 6 months after the 31-year-old was arrested at a Moscow airport and accused by Russian prosecutors of trying to smuggle less than 1 gram of cannabis oil in her luggage. The two-time U.S. Olympic basketball gold medalist pleaded guilty to drug charges last month and said she accidentally packed the drugs in a hurry. Griner's lawyers, Maria Blagovolina and Alexander Boykov, said in a written statement they will appeal the decision and criticize the court for ignoring their evidence. They have 10 days to appeal. All right, blah, 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 blah. It says Griner is not doing fine today, said Blagovolina, a partner at Rahbinah, whatever, all that. The defense team is hopeful that Griner will be able to talk to her family next week. All right. So again, this isn't the first time Griner has gotten herself into some trouble. Let me share my screen and pull up her chart. Now, I don't know what time she was born, unfortunately, but you can still gain some insight just by looking at some of her aspects. She got that Libra stellium, including her sun, moon, Mercury, and Venus. And Libra deals with legalities, court cases, amongst other things, also relationships. The sun conjunct moon can cause her to have an androgynous look. And then when you take into account that she has Mars in Gemini, that can produce that androgynous look as well. She got the gay lunar nodal axis going on in her chart with the south node in Leo, north node in Aquarius, and she is openly lesbian. The third degree deals with travel, so that comes into play. And Brittany is very tall. Somebody said 6'9", but I don't know what time she's born, so I can't really check out the ascendant and see what that's doing. But that north node in Aquarius can deal with where she's destined to be tall. Now this is an interesting aspect. She has Chiron and Cancer conjoined to the Leo South Node. Now, part of that does deal with her dealing with this issue in Russia. Part of that. But this can also deal with issues with her appearance, her body. If you notice, she looks very masculine. And pretty sure she had to deal with comments all her life, especially the taller, the more taller she was getting. She also has Jupiter and Leo squaring Pluto in Scorpio, and that can deal with some type of procedure or surgery to try to tone down the masculinity, I'll say. That Libra influence, and Libra deals with the opposite sex, so that's a major theme dealing with Brittany. I just see Brittany as not being really upfront about who she really is. I'm suspecting that Brittany is transgender, male to female. And it would explain why she's so comfortable being topless, even in outdoor situations where where a woman wouldn't necessarily, I'm not sharing the right screen. She's depicted in certain pictures as being topless in certain settings where a woman typically wouldn't feel comfortable being topless. Right here, it looks like she's in a golf cart or in one of those Jeeps that don't have the top, like the top down Jeep. And she got her top down. I think she was trying to play basketball in Russia. But yeah, I'm going to try to find another picture of her just hanging out topless. Now, I have read somewhere that she does consider herself to be non-binary, so maybe that's the explanation. But I think she's actually transgender, but she's just never come out the closet. Now, it doesn't look like she got her boobs removed because I've seen post-op top surgery, and there's always scars where the breast used to be. And those scars are very hard to camouflage. I'm not seeing any scars on Brittany where it would show that she got a mastectomy. And again, I'm not the only one who speculated that she could be trans. And, that's all good and well. I'm just pointing to the fact that, she's not being upfront. So it's like she trying to say that she didn't sneak that marijuana into Russia, or she wasn't complicit and all that stuff. So that's what I mean. She's been lying all her life. That's how she could tell this bald-faced lie and think people are supposed to believe that shit. Because she's been lying all her damn life. All that Libra energy can deal with hormone therapy as well. Venus squaring that Saturn and Capricorn can deal with issues with femininity, but also in terms of bones. So the bone structure, basically, that's pointed to the bone structure is taken away from the femininity that Venus produces. And that Chiron in Cancer conjoined to that Leo South Node, that's like a man that becomes a woman, basically, especially when you take the Chiron into account, because Chiron deals with where you're exceptional, where you're unconventional, you are set apart from the crowd for some type of reason. But yeah, that's Brittany Griner. Child 794 says she was most definitely born a woman. How do you know that? How do you know that for sure? Is that your family member? Did you grow up with this person? I'm not even saying I know for sure that this person is trans. I'm saying I think. I'm saying I speculate. I'm not going to say I know for sure. I'm asking you, how do you know for sure? People crack me up when they be making these statements. That's why I always put it out there, like, this person seems to me, or they may be, or I think. I'm not going to be like, oh, this person is definitely this. I know for a fact, unless I know this person intimately. So yeah, people crack me up. But anyway, moving along, there's some other current event. Oh, this is the one I wanted to talk about. Let me pull it up. This is a hot topic in the news. Let's see if I can find a clip. This was 2 days ago. I don't even know who this is.
From one artist to another.
Okay. So Kelis is in the news because Beyonce came out with this song, and it has a little clip of one of Kelis's songs. Was it the clip of Milkshake or whatever? And then Kelis basically had a problem with it because Kelis didn't get credit on that song, or she didn't get money or whatever. So I'm going to play this little clip where she's talking about Beyonce, but she's also talking about Pharrell, and she's talking about Chad, those producers that were part of the Neptunes. All right, so here we go.
You should have the decency and the common sense and the courtesy to call, reach out.
Well, Beyonce, as far as we know, and I'm sure Kelis would tell us, has not reached out to Kelis. She has made it clear that she heard Kelis's protest over the use of her song Milkshake in B's Energy of her new album Renaissance.
It was stupid and disrespectful, and she should have at least reached out.
Beyonce has removed the sample from the song, and a new version is streaming on all platforms. And Kelis sees this as a victory, replying to one fan on Instagram that she's absolutely winning.
It's frustrating. I have the right to be frustrated. Why? Because no one had the human decency to call and be like, yo, hey, would like to use your record. I'm a human being, so I get pissed off and I get ticked off, right? I'm an artist, so I am, as Erica said, I'm sensitive about my
But Kelis wants to make clear that no tears were shed in this situation, responding to one member of the Beehive on Instagram who called her a crybaby, real mature. Nobody cried, and confirmed she's quite happy the Milkshake sample has been removed. Its removal also means that Pharrell loses credit on the song. He nor Chad Hugo nor the Neptunes are listed as one of Energy's writers, which means they won't be making any money off of it, something that Kelis is tired of seeing happen.
When I was signed to him, I had the same manager that he had, and he has writing credits on my records, okay, all my singles, coincidentally, and he never wrote a song, a lyric a day in his life. I'd be happy too if I was stealing all kinds of folks' publishing and rights to songs and all kinds of stuff.
So while Kelis's reaction to being scrubbed from Energy came in replies to comments from fans, she posted the video of herself celebrating her birthday month when she turns 42 on August 21st and wrote, "Born in the heat of summer, I am my own validation." In reality, to the average listener, you couldn't really hear the Milkshake sample, so this is more symbolic or acknowledgement more than anything. But I really hope, if she hasn't yet, Beyonce picks up the phone and speaks to Kelis. What are your thoughts?
All right, so also Kelis wrote this tweet where she was she basically said something like, but Beyonce don't need my help. She has Satan. She basically called her out on that shit. I was like, whoa. So Kelis does have some things in her chart that could deal with where somebody is trying to take her work and not give her credit for it. She has Chiron opposition Uranus and Scorpio. That's one of the main aspects that's pointing to that. She also has Moon and Mercury squaring Chiron in Taurus, and that's basically other celebrities, namely Beyonce, taking her, even like just snippets of her music and not giving her proper credit, not giving her money for that. And basically Beyonce's response was just to remove that portion from the song. First of all, that new song by Beyonce, it sucks. You like it, Cali 92? I don't understand what that. I only heard one of the songs, that one that they were just playing. I don't get it. I don't like the beat. She's saying something over and over again. I'm just like, she's falling off. She needs to just go somewhere and retire at this point, because her music sucks, in my opinion, at this point. But I feel like it sucked for the past several years. But that's just my opinion. I like Solange much better. But yeah, Beyonce, something's wrong with her. And like I was telling one of my students this past week, we were talking about her, and I was pointing out certain things about Beyonce's chart, her supposed chart, because you know how a lot of people will say that that's not Beyonce's actual birth date, and we can't be sure about like the chart and everything. But the more I look at that one chart where it's her stated birthday, I believe that could really be her. Especially when you take into account that fifth house cusp. She got Aquarius on the fifth house cusp. And then she got, what is it? Moon. Hold on. She got Moon conjoined to Uranus and Scorpio. She is a carpet muncher, for real. I believe her relationship to Jay-Z was just more so a business arrangement. And I believe Beyonce really is a lesbian. I don't think she really is attracted to men. I don't think she responds well to men. But that's that. But if you put Beyonce and Kelis's chart together in a synastry, you'll see some of these issues that they have. Basically, you can tell they don't like each other at all. So let me... Actually, we're going... Because I don't think I have... Do I have Kelis's birth time? I'm bussing. The thing I don't like about Kelis, one time, I don't know how I found this out, or maybe I saw an interview or somebody told me. I think one of my astrology friends told me that she doesn't believe in astrology. And ever since I found that out about Kelis, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way about her. But I was like, well, she is a Leo, and you know how Leos don't like to hear anything negative about themselves. So that could be why she's not really a fan of astrology, because she don't like what they have to say about the negative stuff about Leo. But you don't believe in astrology, but you put out a song called Bossy? Okay, Kelis. I was watching this pilot of a reality show that Kelis and Nas had put together, but they decided not to go through with it. But it just had so much tension in it. Like, I don't even see how she could deal with Nas long term. Oh my God, it was horrible. Nas kept on complaining about shit. He was afraid to fly. He didn't want to fly. He was like, I gotta fly. You know how he talk all monotone? Yo, I gotta fly first class. I gotta lay down. I can't. Kelis, I can't just ride business class. I gotta be first class with all the amenities. I could never. Now, Nas is cute, don't get me wrong, but I could not deal with that level of Virgo energy. Hell no. You saw it too, Siobhan? Yeah. There's a lot of tension. Kelis is too lively and upbeat for Nas. Nas act like he got a terminal case of depression. That's what... Hey, Cameron, I was hoping you showed up because... Cameron, I was hoping you showed up because guess what? I got polygel nails, not on my hands, on my toes. I did polygel toenails for the first time, and I did a pretty good job, I might say. So I'm pretty proud of myself. They're fire engine red. Oh my God. And then I got the regular, I did my gel manicure for my hands, and oh my God, I'm getting better and better at it. But yes, I love the polygel. I can't wait to do my next set. And it's pretty easy. But yeah, that's one of the things I've been getting into, my nails lately, and I've been having a ball. All right. And I have to admit, it's because of Mars and Taurus too. I'm kind of like, at this point, I might need to contact like Amazon Anonymous, because I keep on purchasing stuff from Amazon, like all this nail stuff. And it's like every week things are getting delivered. And I'm like, let me just calm down. Let me stop. I'm building like a whole nail arsenal, like a whole nail technician, like little salon in my bedroom. But I'm having so much fun at it. And the thing is, I rarely spend money on myself like this. So I feel like this is for a good cause. I mean, I'm really going to use this stuff because I like having my nails done, but I don't like spending money going to the salon all the time. I haven't gotten my nails done at a salon since 2016. Yeah, 2016 was the last time I went to a salon to get my nails done, and they didn't even do that great of a job. But just doing them at home, I saved so much more money. And it wasn't like I was going to the nail salon a lot anyway as a middle-aged woman. I used to get my nails done a lot when I was like in my late teens or early 20s. But that shit costs a lot. Cameron said, polygel is such a dream to work with. You're good at everything, so I'm sure they look great. Cameron, I'm starting to realize I have a little talent for stuff like this. It's really making me feel proud of myself. I do have a little artistic flair. And I'm going to start gradually like getting into more designs and stuff like that. Yes, please send me some pics, because I'm like crazy. Like I subscribe to all these nail channels now, and yeah, I'm just crazy with it. Now, a lot of that deals with the fact that my progressed moon is in Virgo right now. And it's in my 8th house, so that can have me obsessed with my fingers. And like obsessed with doing some type of art and craft. Because, doing your nails, that's very much arts and crafts. And Virgo is really good with the arts and the crafts. And, because Virgo is about the attention to detail and meticulous, painstaking work. And again, Virgo rules the fingers. So, yeah. All right. So, Beyonce and Kelis, real quick. So, there are some issues dealing with Kelis's Venus and Sun in Leo and Jupiter squaring Beyonce's moon and Uranus. That's basically Beyonce taking some of her shit and not giving her the proper due credit, and where she's losing out or she lost out on money. She said this wasn't the first time that Beyonce took one of her songs or used one of her songs without giving her credit, without giving her money. Also, Kelis's Mars is squaring Beyonce's Saturn and Mercury and Jupiter. So there's really this hatred there, especially on Kelis's end. And Kelis was talking about how Beyonce or something wasn't real or something like that. And that's very much dealing with those squares right there. And that's basically Kelis getting personal about this shit too, making it personal. Kelis got a Pisces South Node, so she's just naturally vulnerable to somebody stealing her shit or taking her shit and not giving her proper credit. Kelis's Saturn is on Beyonce's Sun, so that's like Kelis basically spanking Beyonce, trying to discipline her, trying to set her straight, and also publicizing this shit. Her North Node is on Beyonce's Sun as well. And this is a good lesson for Kelis to be more alert, to be more attentive, to pay attention to detail. I think it was a little part of the Milkshake song, but then Kelis said that this wasn't the first time that Beyonce has took some of her work and not given her credit or money for it. Hold on for 1 second. Just give me a minute. Picture me rolling. Oh, straight out the ghetto to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Picture me rolling. Oh, now. All right. All right, enough about this. Let me see if I got everything off of my list for the current events. Oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. Interesting. Okay. I was going to do one more. I do have time. Let me see if I got her chart in my files, because a couple of people wanted me to touch on this story, and I kind of shied away from it when the story was fresh and new because it deals with the death of a person's child. And I don't like to just jump on stories like that. But I did promise somebody that I would touch on it. Regina King. Remember, she lost her son? Didn't her son commit suicide? So let me just pull up that story. So it says, Regina King's son, musician Ian Alexander Jr., dies at 26, a bright light who cares so deeply. Ian Alexander Jr., the only child of award-winning actor Regina King, died by suicide at the age of 26, a representative for the family said Saturday as support flooded in from social media. Our family is devastated at the deepest level by the loss of Ian. A statement shared by a King family spokesman said, according to the Associated Press, he is such a bright light who cares so deeply about the happiness of others. The family asked for respectful consideration during this private time. No further details were released. Alexander Jr., who turned 26 just days ago on January 19th, was a musician and DJ who frequently attended award ceremonies and star-studded events alongside his mother. His father, Ian Alexander Sr., is a record producer who was married to King for a decade before they divorced in 2007. All right, so I'm not going to get deep into this because I got to get into this case study, but I am going to talk about the aspects that deal with the death of her son in her natal chart. So she has Sun in Capricorn, and with the Sun ruling children, that can deal with a child that is depressed. So that comes into play. And then let me see. Pluto, she got Mercury square Pluto, but it's not connecting to the sun, which that's where that comes in with the house placements. Oh, there it is right there. Mercury is ruling that fifth house. So fifth house is children, Mercury square Pluto. That's representing the child, her son's death, his suicide. But she also has a Leo South node with Mars squaring that Leo South node. So that's also the suicide of her son as well. So this is basically part of her karmic debt that she had to pay back in this lifetime. She also has a Thor's hammer involving her son because Mercury is ruling her son, with it ruling that fifth house, and Mercury's squaring Pluto. Mercury's forming a sesame square with Saturn, and Saturn's forming a sesame square with Pluto. So yeah, unfortunately, also she had Mercury square Chiron too. Did it say how he committed suicide? Was it with a gun? But yeah, that's really troubling. That's really sad. But it just shows that, this was part of her fate to have to experience something like that. It's very clear when you look at that Mars and Scorpio square in that Leo South node. That's the death of a child right there. And when you got Mars and Scorpio squaring that Leo South node, that could be self-inflicted. Did they ever say how he killed himself? So he hung himself. Wow. Yeah, so hanging himself, that can deal with that Mercury sesqui square Saturn. Actually, that Thor's hammer, because Saturn is in Taurus, and Taurus rules the neck. So if he hung himself, that would make sense. But yeah, so that's for, I can't remember who wanted me to do or wanted me to look at Regina King's chart, but I wanted to get that squared away before I forget, and I forget forever. All right, how y'all doing? I gotta take a breather. And yeah, I don't think I'll be on long tonight. I'm gonna get done this case study, and then I'll do a few one card readings, and then I'm gonna have to get back to work. Plus, my head was hurting last night, and I hope it doesn't start hurting again, but I'm starting to feel a little pressure. And I will tell y'all one of my fears, and I shouldn't even speak it. No, I'm not gonna speak it. I'm not gonna speak on it. But we all got some fears. Some of us might have some fears that they might, deal with a health concern at some point in their life. And if you just understand how your chart is laid out in terms of possible health issues, then you could really start to be concerned when certain things, aren't working exactly right. So I will say last night I did kind of have a freak out moment. And it was a situation where I was working, and I was like, I couldn't even work anymore. I just had to lay down. And I was like, damn. But the good thing was, once I woke up from a nap, I wasn't dealing with the issue anymore. So that was good. But yeah, that kind of freaked me out. But I'm good. I'm good. All right, so let's get into this case study. Cameron said, I have been getting bad headaches lately too, and I never get headaches. It's the heat, girl. You think so? I was thinking the same thing. After I freaked out a little bit, something, dehydration did pop into my head, and maybe that's what it was. Because I'll just be frank. I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm not getting a brain tumor. Because honestly, sometimes I'd be like thinking like, okay, is that how I'm going to go out? Because I do have Jupiter in Aries. It's squaring my Capricorn energy. It's opposing my Pluto. I'm like, oh my God, is that what this is? So yeah, I just hope that never happens. But again, once you're aware of your chart and you're aware of because I have to be real with myself, because I'm real with my clients. When I do their natal charts, I talk about all the potential health problems they can have. So I have to be real with myself about what could potentially be wrong with me. And yeah, sometimes I can feel it. Like I get these massive headaches sometimes. But last night it was even different. It was like I was getting like electric shocks on the side of my head, like on my temple. And it was like, oh God, let me just lay down and take a nap and rest my eyes. And as soon as I closed my eyes, I started to feel better. But yeah, that was starting to freak me out. And it has been real hot here, so I hope it was just the heat. Because I'm not ready to go yet. And I damn sure ain't trying to have no brain surgery. You think it's solar flares? Is that what's going on right now? Eat watermelon. Is that good for dehydration? Shao 794 said, me too, heat headache. I'm glad you're doing better, Ra. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, because I was a little scared. And usually it takes a lot to scare me. I mean, aside from me being scared of heights and I'm scared of loud noises. But other than that, I'm not scared of a lot. Oh, I'm scared of big bugs too. But those are the only things I'm really scared of. Other than that, I don't scare too easily. So yeah, I was a little shook last night. You think it was a migraine? It was the heat. Well, y'all making me feel better. Thank you. I think I do have a little bit of anemia because I get cold real quickly. You said, what's the weather like? It's been hot. It's been above 100. Well, see, it stays above 100 in Arizona, in the Phoenix metro area. It stays in that above 100 zone for the whole summer. But I was just saying earlier today, I was like, it's especially hot today. Right now it's 99 degrees and it's nighttime. That should just give you an idea. All right, so enough about me. Let's get into this case study because I've been wanting to do this case study for a while now. And I kept putting it off. But I feel like now is the time to really get into this situation. And some of y'all might be familiar with this case. Let me close this out. And again, this is about Cancer, the dark side. It's a good example of the dark side of Cancer. Nacho Lover said, are the snakes as bad as they say in AZ? Well, I've never come across a snake here. Wait a minute, have I? I might have seen a small snake. But yeah, if you go out in the desert area, you're definitely going to come across some rattlesnakes. They do have palmetto bugs out here. Now, there was one of them big old brown cockroaches on the outside of my patio. Oh my God. Thank God we had spray. But I don't think it was a palmetto bug because it didn't try to fly. That thing started crawling on the roof though. I was like, what the hell? Those things are demonic. You can't convince me otherwise. All right. So here she is right here. Does she look familiar to any of you? Does anybody notice this chick situation? Baby, we can do it. Take your time, do it right. We can do it, baby. Take your time. Rodents and bugs are demonic. They sure are. Demon time. That's what they be on. You notice they like to come out at night. That ought to tell you something. So nobody knows who this chick is. Shantae Mallard. Chante got a man at home. Well, she ain't home. Well, I don't know if she made it home. I don't know if she's out of the prison yet. But she ended up doing, quite a long bid for what she did. And she's a Cancer. Can you tell? Can you tell that she's a Cancer? She got one of them faces you just want to scratch up. Especially considering what she did. That hairstyle, Lord. But then she ended up getting herself a ponytail later in the court case. She must have saw herself on camera a few times and was like, oh, God. He said, no, this woman. Yes, Tay got it. Yes. That's the woman that hit the homeless man and she drove home with him stuck in the windshield. Siobhan says she looks very Cancer. Yes, this bitch, she drove with this man stuck in her windshield after she hit him because she was drunk. She drove home. I'm gonna just read the bio. I'm gonna just read the story real quick. So it says the windshield death case, classification, murderer. This is from murderpedia.org. I love this website. Characteristics: hit a homeless man with her car, driving home with his mangled body jammed in the windshield and leaving him to die in her garage. This took place on October 26, 2001, but she wasn't arrested until February 26, 2002. Method of murder: hitting with her car and then left to die embedded in the windshield. This took place at Fort Worth, Texas. She was sentenced to 50 years in prison for murder and an additional 10 for tampering with evidence on June 27, 2003. So here's the story. Shantae Mallard is a woman from Fort Worth, Texas, who was convicted and sentenced to 50 years imprisonment for her role in the death of a 37-year-old homeless man, Gregory Glenn Biggs. Here he is right here. That's Gregory Glenn Biggs. The incident occurred on October 26, 2001, when Mallard's car struck him. At the time, Mallard was believed to have been driving while intoxicated by drugs and alcohol. The force of the impact sent Biggs flying through the windshield, lodging him there. Mallard then drove home, leaving the injured Biggs stuck in her windshield and parked her car in her garage. After the accident, Mallard did not notify the police, nor did she get Biggs any medical attention, even though she was a former nurse's aide. When Biggs died, an unknown number of hours later, still in the windshield of her car in her garage, she called a male friend, Cleet Jackson, for assistance. Mallard, Jackson, and Jackson's cousin Herbert Tyrone Cleveland took the body to a park and left it there, even going so far as to set fire to part of the car in an attempt to disguise the evidence. The three were each convicted on charges of tampering with evidence for this action. Mallard became a suspect after she was reported talking and laughing about the incident at a party some 4 months after the events. "I hit this white man," Mallard allegedly told acquaintance Miranda Daniel, laughing. During the trial, Tarrant County Medical Examiner Nizam Pirwani testified that had Mallard taken Biggs to a hospital, he would have recovered from his injuries. Other experts testified that they agreed that Biggs would have survived. There's not a member of the Fort Worth Fire Department that could not have saved Mr. Biggs' life, testified Captain Jim Souter. Mallard was convicted of murder in June 2003, with the 50-year murder sentence and 10-year tampering sentence to run concurrently. She will be eligible for parole in 2027. Mallard's case would later be adapted as an episode of the CSI crime scene investigation Anatomy of a Lie, aired May 2nd, 2002, and also as an episode of Law and Order Darwinian, aired January 7, 2004. Though the driver is allowed to plead guilty to obstruction of justice after an autopsy reveals that the accident was not the cause of the fatal head injury, the case is referenced briefly in the Drawn Together episode, Captain Hero's Marriage Pact, and in a parody song on The Russ Martin Show. A subplot in My Name is Earl is also inspired by the case. So here are the timelines of events that led up to this situation and what occurred after she struck Biggs with her car. And this is according to FoxNews.com. Timeline of events in the Shantae Mallard windshield death case. This is a timeline of the events in the Shantae Jawan Mallard murder case, according to court records and testimony. On October 25, 2001, about 11 p.m., Shantae Mallard smokes pot, drinks and takes ecstasy at a friend's apartment, then goes to a nightclub where the women keep drinking. On October 26, 2001, about 3 a.m., on the way home from her friend's apartment, Mallard hits Biggs on a 6-lane highway about 5 miles southeast of downtown Fort Worth. She stops briefly, trying in vain to remove his body, but then drives about a mile to her house and parks in a garage. October 26, 2001, about 9 a.m., Mallard picks up her former boyfriend, Cleet Daniel Jackson, and takes him to her house where he sees Biggs' mangled body. That night, Jackson and his cousin Herbert Tyrone Cleveland remove the body. The men and Mallard take it to a nearby park. October 27, 2001. Biggs' body found in Cobb Park. February 26, 2002. After receiving a tip from one of Mallard's acquaintances, police go to Mallard's house with a search warrant, find blood-stained and dented car. Officers also find the front passenger seat burned in the backyard. February 26, 2002. After being taken to police station and giving statement, Mallard is arrested, charged with failing to stop and render aid, and released on bond. March 6, 2002. After talking to medical examiner about Biggs' injuries, authorities arrest Mallard again on a charge of murder. April 25, 2002. Mallard indicted on charges of murder and tampering with evidence. September 12, 2002. Herbert Tyrone Cleveland pleads guilty to tampering with evidence, is sentenced to 9 years in prison. As part of plea bargain, he agrees to testify at Mallard's trial. January 8, 2003. Clete Daniel Jackson pleads guilty to tampering with evidence, is sentenced to 10 years in prison. As part of plea bargain, he agrees to testify at Mallard's trial. June 23, 2003. Mallard pleads guilty to tampering with evidence but pleads innocent to murder, and her trial begins. June 26, 2003. Jury begins deliberations. Mallard faces life in prison if found guilty of murder. If found guilty of failure to stop and render aid, the maximum sentence is 5 years. June 27, 2003. Jury sentences Mallard to 50 years in prison for murder and an additional 10 for tampering with evidence. She will serve her sentences concurrently, giving her a total of 50 years in jail. Mallard will be eligible for parole after serving 25 years. So this happened in she went to jail in 2003. So if we're talking about 25 years, that would be 2028. She's eligible for parole. All right. She said what she did is hard. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's what I think her lawyer is saying. I'm trying to see if she has it in quotes. So actually, the brother, or maybe it was the son, forgave her. Let me just read this part real quick before I get into the chart. So this is from CNN.com. Jurors Friday evening sentenced Shantae Mallard to 50 years for the murder of a homeless man she hit with her car and then left to die embedded in the windshield. Mallard was sentenced to 10 years for tampering with evidence. Her sentence will be served concurrently. She was not fined for either conviction. Under Texas law, a person must serve half the term before becoming eligible for parole. Mallard reacted with silence and tears. She tightly shut her eyes. Brandon Biggs, son of victim Gregory Glenn Biggs, spoke to the court moments after the sentence was announced. To the Mallard family, we would like to say that we are sorry for your loss as well, he said. To Chante, I personally would like to say I would accept your apology, and in return, I hope that you will accept my forgiveness and my forgiveness of Jesus Christ. And the forgiveness of Jesus Christ. Moments later, Mallard was escorted out of the courtroom in custody as her mother sobbed. A local prosecutor had asked jurors to sentence Mallard, 27, to life in prison, the maximum sentence possible. She could have saved him, said Tarrant County Assistant District Attorney Christy Jack. Doesn't that speak volumes about her character? Doesn't that speak volumes about the atrocity of this crime? Mallard could have been sentenced to as few as 5 years in prison. Jack asked only for the sentence and not for a fine. You cannot buy justice in this county, she said. Defense attorney Jeff Kearney argued at length for leniency, pointing out that Mallard had no prior convictions and saying that his client was placed in extraordinary circumstances. What she did is horrible, but I disagree with Miss Jack. She is not a horrible person, Kearney said. Please don't destroy another life, Kearney added. Please give her a chance to prove she can do something good. Mallard appeared drained as she returned to the courtroom Friday for testimony during the sentencing phase. A toxicology expert was first on the stand Friday to explain the effects of the alcohol, marijuana, and other drugs Mallard had taken to the night of the crime. On Thursday, jurors delivered 2 guilty verdicts against Mallard, a former nurse's aide, for hitting Gregory Biggs and leaving him to die at her home. Okay, I'll stop there. Y'all get the gist of the story. Oh, this gets really into detail. I think I read all this before. I might go back to reading some of these details, but she actually went to sleep. And when she woke up, I think Biggs was still alive. And she kept saying that she was sorry. Like, she was apologetic. She was apologizing to the guy that was stuck in the windshield, but she refused to go get him help. Now, a lot of this is dealing with the fact that she's a Cancer, and I'll explain why. Now, she got some other aspects, not dealing with her Cancer energy, that just basically exacerbated the issues that come with the dark side of Cancer. So let's get into that right now. Her being a nurse's aide, that's very Cancer. Cancer is the sign of the nurse. All right. So, some of the dark side of Cancer traits that she displayed, totally subjective. So Cancer is a sign that's totally subjective, and that can be problematic in and of itself. And I like to say, you don't share a world with Cancer. You become absorbed in Cancer's water world. Always remember that when dealing with Cancers. Now, of course, there's exceptions to this rule, but Cancer is, again, a subjective sign. And it's a sign that's highly personalized. And it's a sign that's internalized. And I always say when you get into a Cancer's life and you get close to them and you form that close connection with them, it's like now you're in their belly. And this is why it's hard to, permanently separate from a lot of Cancers, because it's hard to get them out of get out of their belly, basically, you could say. So always know that you're in their world. So when she hit him, that's when he entered her world. You feel me? And in her world, he didn't matter. You get what I'm saying? Especially because he was a white man. And I strongly believe race had a lot to do with this. And Cancer rules race. So another issue with Cancer is selfishness disguised as self-preservation. A lot of people don't realize this, but Cancer is one of the most selfish signs out there. See, it don't seem like it because they could come across as so caring, so nurturing, so sensitive to your needs and stuff like that. But trust and believe, a lot of times they got ulterior motives, or basically they're making you feel comfortable because it makes them feel comfortable. They're doing all these nice things to you to pull you in. And once they pull you in, they don't want to let go. So they'll also do things to make sure that they remain safe and they remain secure, even if it's to the detriment of others. And again, I'm talking about the dark side of Cancer. I'm not talking about you light side of Cancer people. Also, dark side of Cancer can be totally irrational and illogical. So that came into play with respect to what happened. She became totally irrational. And Cancer has a wild imagination. So she was imagining the worst that could possibly happen. Oh my God, if I get this man help, I'm going to get arrested. And you know how Cancer loves their comfort. Cancer loves their home. Cancer loves their bed, especially. She was thinking about getting into her warm bed. Her warm bed. And I'm telling you, this is how she was thinking, even though she wasn't in her right mind at the time. But this is a Cancer's response, dark-sided. The comfort of her home and her warm bed, it trumped his safety. It trumped his time of trauma where she was supposed to go get him help. And trust to believe, the food comes into play too, because she's already thinking, oh my God, if I get locked up, I'm going to have to eat that nasty prison food. Come on now, she had Cancer. And she got some strong Taurus energy. So she thinking about more so the comforts of her life and having to give that shit up. And of course she's thinking about, getting arrested. But again, it's because of the comfort. All those comforts are going to be taken away from her. And she was like, this can't be happening. So she immediately went into a shell response, which Cancers are prone to do. Even the light-sided Cancers, when they're going through some type of tough time, when they're going through some type of traumatic time, they will create this shell as a protection. So again, once she hit that guy with the car, she went into shell mode. And again, he was absorbed into her world at that time, and he didn't matter in her world. And that's how she was able to just drive home with him stuck in the windshield. Mind you, she is apologetic. She's all, saying she's sorry and shit. At the time when she was driving, I don't know if she was apologizing. But again, her fear overrode her ability to say, or even her compassion, and where she was supposed to give that man help. So again, imagination runs wild. Cancer can be real scary acting too. And again, the racist thing. Remember, she told the acquaintance at the party, the way she said it, I hit this white man. And cancer does deal with race. And you will have some cancers that are myopic and that only fuck with their own race. Because cancer is also a sign that is inclined towards what is familiar to them. So other races are unfamiliar. Other cultures are unfamiliar. And they're liable to just stick to what they know, stick to what makes them comfortable. So I wouldn't be surprised if she hated white people. And some black people like to believe that lie that black people can't be racist because racism is an institutional type thing. I believe you got institutionalized racism in some cases, but then you got interpersonal racism. And yes, I believe black people can be racist. It's been my experience that black people, some black people are some of the racist people out there. Now you might say, oh, it's because, you know, what happened in history with the slavery and stuff like that. But I've seen black people not just be racist against white people, but they're racist against Asians and Mexicans and other races, anybody that's not black. So let's not pretend that black people can't be racist. I believe race had a big part to play in this. I believe if she would have hit a black man or a black woman, she would have got that person help. I believe that compassion would have took over more. But because he was white and she didn't have no connection to that white world like that, and she looked at him as perhaps just the enemy in general, he's representing the enemy, he's representing the white devil, she was able to rationalize and just keep on driving. Emotions override reasoning when it comes to Cancer. Also secretive, covering shit up, trying to cover your tracks. Using tears to garner sympathy. Now, this girl was crying her eyes out the whole court case and stuff. Now, she wasn't crying for the guy. She was crying for herself. So, again, she freaked out. She basically drives home with this guy stuck in a car because she didn't want to give up that level of comfort that she became accustomed to throughout her life. Moving along. So, Shantae Mallard, date of birth June 22nd, 1976, birth number 22. I always say that 22 is control or be controlled, kill or be killed. Sudden death is a possible manifestation of that 22. Also, freak accidents. It can produce sociopathic tendencies in some cases. It can manifest as a heavily fated life. And also, it brings a need to exercise caution in everything that you do. Her life path number is 6. 6 deals with money, safety, security, relationships, but also court cases. And again, that food theme. I'm telling you, she was thinking more so about her stomach, and Cancer rules the stomach. She was thinking more so about her stomach and what she was going to eat in the morning, and thinking about that soft-ass bed that was waiting for her, than getting this man some help, than taking him to the hospital, or at least pulling over and calling 911. She was thinking about making herself some grits and eggs and some bacon in the morning with some blueberry waffles and shit. She had all that shit planned out because people like her trust and believe they plan what they're going to eat days in advance, because eating is a big deal for somebody like her with the Cancer and the Taurus energy combined. So, moving along. So here she is right here, crying her eyes out, looking like one of them SpongeBob characters. I'm just saying, it's a little too late for the tears now. But Cancer will, turn the faucet on, and next thing you know, they just crying their eyes out. But again, she ain't crying for the man. She ain't crying because she feels remorse, in my opinion. She's crying because she knows that she's going to have to eat that nasty prison gruel. She knows she's going to have to fight off some studs in prison. She knows she ain't going to have that comfy bed anymore. She knows she ain't going to have them scented candles that she like. She knows she ain't going to be able to fry them ends of her hair with that old ass curling iron that she has still. I'm saying she was thinking more so about her comfort and what was going to be taken away than that man. So here's her chart right here. She got Sun conjunct Venus in Cancer, Mercury in Gemini, and that reinforces the driving theme. She got a whole Taurus stellium. So that's what I'm saying. When you got a Taurus stellium and then you got Sun conjunct Venus in Cancer, your comfort level is everything. Food is everything. If she's still in prison right now, she's probably still hurt. Well, nah, somebody like her, they know how to improvise. So I'm pretty sure she came up with 101 ramen recipes by now. And her commissary is probably, she probably got a lot of money with the commissary, getting all types of snack cakes and cookies and pies and all this shit. And yeah, she probably had to do what she had to do to get some good money on her books or whatever and get the good food. But I believe she probably really struggled with that prison life in the beginning because, again, she didn't have the luxuries and the comforts that she became accustomed to. She got Saturn in Leo, Mars in Leo, Pluto in Libra, Uranus conjoined the North Node in Scorpio, Neptune in Sag, Moon conjunct Chiron, Moon conjunct South Node. All right, so let's get into this. So here she is again, looking like one of them SpongeBob random characters that you be seeing at the Krabby Patty shack and shit. She looked like her now. I'm gonna call her Krabby Patty. That's gonna be my nickname for her, Krabby Patty, because with that Moon square Saturn she got a crabby ass attitude. And that Moon square Saturn that can deal with deprivation, like it's even with food, like you can't get the type of food you want anymore. So here's her chart again. So Sun conjunct Venus in Cancer. This can produce strong inclination towards self-preservation. Again, the shell response highlighted, intensified, augmented with Venus being conjoined to the Sun. Also her being very much about protection, but her own protection. And when you have Sun conjunct Venus, you could treat people as extensions of yourself. So again, that reinforces that whole tendency for her to basically bring a person into her world where it's not about them. It's about how she fares in the deal. It's about how she manages at the end of the day. All right, where am I at? Also, privacy. Strong feelings about race. So Cancer is very much inclined towards privacy. Cancer rules privacy. When you have Sun conjunct Venus in Cancer, you're very much about being private, even more so. So she didn't want this to get out. So that's another reason why she parked the car into the garage and hid that shit, because she's trying to keep this shit on the low. She's trying to keep shit under wraps. Also, this can produce strong feelings about race. And also this deals with her being a certified nurse's aide. She had Venus square Pluto, and that can deal with killing someone. Also, this is her allowing him to die due to his race. Again, with that Venus being in Cancer, Cancer rules with race. And again, at that party, she said, I killed a white man. She didn't say I killed a man. She said I killed a white man and laughed about it. That Venus square Pluto can make her open to demonic possession as well. More on that in a minute. Her moon is conjoined to the Taurus South Node. So again, self-preservation at all costs. So when you're a Cancer and then you got the moon in Taurus, you're all about your personal needs above all else. So also, where am I at? Attempting to hide the evidence at her home when you take into account the opposition with the Scorpio North Node, becoming stuck. And that's the theme, dealing with the man being stuck in the windshield. So her Mars is in Leo. And this Mars in Leo, that can be a very problematic Mars. I've seen quite a people act up that have Mars and Leo. Mars and Leo can produce someone that can be rather unpleasant, especially if they don't get their way or if they're not getting enough attention, what have you. It can make somebody very headstrong, prone to narcissism, and even more so than Sun and Leo, in my opinion. Mars and Leo produces a whole nother variety of narcissism that's usually more on the malignant narcissism end. Childish actions, conflicts with men is common with Mars and Leo. Also having this superiority complex as well. And in this case, she might feel like she's superior to certain races, namely white people. She has Mars square Jupiter. This can lead to poor judgment or rushing to judgment, jumping to conclusions. She probably thought the man was going to die within seconds, but was wrong. See, when you got Mars square Jupiter, you think you know what's going to happen, but a lot of times you're dead wrong. So she's probably thinking, oh, the man's going to die anyway. Let me hurry up and get this car home and deal with this shit once I figure it all out. Overestimating self. So this is her overestimating her ability to drive a car. Being reckless, excessive, being over the top, attempting to skirt the law. A need for self-preservation wins out over her need to help that man, and overlooking his needs. Here she is again right here, just looking pitiful. And again, she is not remorseful, in my opinion. She's thinking about that nasty prison food that she's going to have to eat. She's thinking about that hard-ass bed that she's going to have to lay on. Because I believe she already knew that, like, she wasn't going to be able to win this case. She already knew. I think the lawyers already told her, like, look. And they did. I think they said that, yeah, she did plead to tampering with the evidence. She even has this look on her face like, come on, let's just get this over with. Because I'm hungry. All right, so here's the clincher right here. She got Mercury and Gemini opposing Neptune. So this is her driving while in a drunken and drugged out stupor. And this is an aspect that can result in blacking out. So I believe she was blacked out when she was driving. You know what I say about the blackout drunkenness? That's when demons will take over. So she's driving, but somebody else is really at the wheel because her mind is gone. It's going on the alcohol. It's really the alcohol, but, you know, just combine the ecstasy and the weed. She was shit-faced, hammered. So driving while in a drunken and drugged out stupor, blacking out, freaking out, fear takes over. So with that Mercury opposition Neptune, again, she's like fearing the worst. And she becomes totally irrational. Also, this opposition explains how she was able to drive home with Big stuck in the windshield. Again, because she totally is lost at this point, lost her damn mind. And now the panic takes over, the fear takes over, and that enables her to just keep driving. Also, this points to, again, her attempting to evade arrest. That's basically one and the same with her keeping on driving. Mental health issues. Also, her attempts to hide the car as well, and that was a poor job of doing it. That's Mars square Jupiter too. Just being real sloppy with shit. So they're trying to hide the evidence, but they hid the car in the backyard. Come on now. Mental health issues, especially in terms of paranoia. And this can mean that her mind is wide open to the spirit world, especially when she becomes intoxicated. Being too impressionable. Also, this is dealing with the imprisonment and how it really probably took a toll upon her mental health. She was probably crying every day for like the first month. Now she got Sun trine Uranus, and that deals with the help that she received from her criminal friends. She has Uranus conjoined to the North Node. This points to friends being part of her downfall. Friends helping her cover up the evidence. And this can make her a magnet for demons. Moving along. Here's her chart again. So she has Saturn in Leo square Uranus in Scorpio. This is the friend or the acquaintance that brought attention to Chante and the accident after she bragged at a party about killing that man. Also, Moon and Chiron in Taurus square Saturn. This is her being mean. So this right here is showing you also that you can't just blame what she did on drugs and alcohol, because when you take Moon square Saturn into account, and especially because the Moon is conjoined to Chiron, that can make her mean, uncaring, heartless, cold, cruel. And this deals with her being a CNA just for the money, and where she was probably mistreating her patients. Self-esteem issues, especially when dealing with men, with that Saturn being in Leo. She has Pluto in Libra quincunx Taurus South Node. So this is her getting help from the ex-boyfriend, trying to hide the evidence. This is the tampering with the evidence aspect. But also this is dealing with demonic attachment and how it could have occurred at the club. And this is something, especially my younger viewers, you have to take into account when you drink heavily, or if you're under the influence of certain drugs, and if you go to public places like bars, nightclubs, lounges, especially them hookah lounges. No, I'm not. I'm just saying any type of lounge where there's alcohol free flowing, nightclubs, bars, you gotta be careful about drinking too much, being on certain drugs, because there's a lot of demons that be just socializing right along with people. I've even had clients tell me about seeing spirits on people when they've been in nightclubs, and they can see the demons jumping on people and shit. Y'all ever see that movie? Is it called with Denzel Washington, Fallen? Is that what it's called? Where those demons are jumping into people, basically, or they're jumping on people. So when you're in atmospheres like that, yeah, the demons are running amok. And because of what she has in her chart, a demon probably jumped on her when she was in a nightclub and gave her that false sense of confidence that she could drive home. Yeah, that movie Fallen. So she got a yacht in her chart. And this yacht is pointing to the accident, including the events that led up to the accident. Because with yachts, there's always a positive that turns negative. It's always something that brings the situation into focus or brings the parties together. And then the quincunxes that are part of that yacht is what ends up being the catastrophe or the disaster or the death, the accident, what have you. So her yacht is involving the Taurus South Node, and that South Node again pointing to karmic debt. That Taurus South Node is also pointing to the evidence, because Taurus rules evidence. So it's just basically showing that she was sloppy with the evidence, but it's mainly showing with the Neptune sextile Pluto, that's her getting drunk, that's her being at the nightclub. That's the connection. That facilitated the demon to be able to take over. And then the quincunxes involving that South Node is representing the accident, but especially the aftermath where her trying to tamper with the evidence and this shit blowing up in her face, them finding the evidence right in her backyard with the South Node being conjoined to that moon. So again, the yacht is also pointing to demonic possession occurring at the club with Pluto being in Libra due to being over inebriated. And with Mercury opposition Neptune, she's already weak-minded. Again, her mind is already wide open to suggestion, both from people and also spirits. I might have to give me a snack after this. She making me hungry. Here she is right here crying her eyes out. As you can see, this lawyer over here, he's sick of her ass. He like, God damn. Every day this bitch is crying. And he already know what she's about because she been asking him what time lunch. When's lunch happening? When can we break for recess? I'm hungry. So she has the sun running parallel to the fixed star Hamal, and Hamal pertains to violence, cruelty, and brutality. She also has sun running parallel to Adhafara, which is a star that pertains to crime, lying, stealing, and suicide. Mercury is conjoined to Aldebaran. Aldebaran's not far away, it's Californication. Yeah, Hot Chili Peppers. But anyway, Mercury conjoined to Aldebaran. That could deal with warmongering. And that makes me think, again, her just having this disdain for white people, perhaps. Agitation, danger, loss, violent death. Look at her right here. Again, I'm not seeing somebody that's really remorseful. She's mad because she ain't in that comfort zone that she's so accustomed to be. That's why she became a CNA, so she could be rating her patients' refrigerators and shit. Helping herself to the Kool-Aid and the leftover fried chicken and all that type of stuff. I already know what she was doing. That's probably how she got fired from her CNA job. She was taking food right out of these people's refrigerators and shit. Probably took a couple of patients' food stamp card and went shopping and shit. Jupiter Going Wild said, drop it low for a fish dinner with extra coleslaw, right? That sounds good right about there. Right? Don't she look hungry right there? She hasn't ate right since they arrested her ass. So you know that stomach just grumbling. That's what she feels remorseful about, that she got caught. And now, no more ham and cheese sandwiches. Now she eating, what do they call that shit, that weight gainer shit? And they say, you know how it'd be like not fit for human consumption? She had to subsist on that shit. That could actually break somebody like her mentally. They probably had to put her in a padded cell a couple of times. Kara said, she was saying, oh baby, that jello is nasty. You don't want that. I'll take it away from you. You know she was taking all their food. All right, moving along. So again, here she is right here. This is, I'm just getting that Krabby Patty, SpongeBob type of vibe from her. She just got that look. And she has that look that she could be a little slow. You know what I'm saying? She does have Mercury opposition Neptune, and that could deal with where she did have to get some special education at some point. But again, that doesn't excuse her for what she did. That doesn't excuse her at all. Krabby Patty. All right, so here, this is from the medical examiner. It said medical examiner's records listed Biggs' address as a homeless shelter in Fort Worth. His mother, Meredith Biggs, said she recently had begun looking for him. So this was a troubled man. You know, he was down and out on his luck, but he was working at a homeless shelter. It was the shelter that he was living at. He was working there too. It was my understanding. And he was trying to get back up on his feet. And then here come this bitch. It says, how could she just leave him like that to die? She told the Star Telegram. This is the mother asking this. Drugs and alcohol wear off. So why didn't she get him some help? I told y'all why she didn't get him help. Because she didn't want to be taken out of that comfort zone. She was thinking about that soft ass bed, that juice in the refrigerator, the ham hocks. She looked like she'll tear up some ham hocks, don't she? And some pickled pig's feet. She looked like a pickled pig's feet. So she said drugs and alcohol wear off. So why didn't she get him some help? I should have prayed more. Oh. So here she is again. So Gregory Glenn Biggs. You know, this 16 has shown up in my last 3 videos, hasn't it? Remember, I was doing Selena. Selena's a 16, and then somebody else was a 16 too. And Gregory is a 16. And guess what? A Leo. And Chante has that Saturn in Leo and Mars in Leo. So you can't make this shit up. The Mars in Leo in particular, because Mars deals with a man. So in her chart, that's like a Leo man. Gregory Glenn Biggs. So his birth number of 16, that can manifest as mental illness, but also homelessness, tragedy, catastrophe, victimization, accidents, and injuries. Life path number 8, this can bring heavy karmic debt, fated and destined events. It can manifest as a hard knock life. Mercury opposition Chiron. Mercury was at the 17 degree of Virgo. Chiron, 17 degrees of Pisces. This is his requests for help are being ignored. Him being trapped in a car, a freak accident, being kidnapped. Basically, I say kidnapped because basically that's what happened. And she does have Proserpina and Demeter prominent in her chart. That's right. I got to look at what planets are attached to those asteroids. But those asteroids can deal with kidnapping. And basically that's what she did. She kidnapped him and hid him in the garage of her home. Also, perhaps he was on anti-anxiety drugs at some point. His Mercury conjoined Pluto and Virgo, him dying in a car, and him just experiencing this sense of desperation. Like when you got Mercury conjunct Pluto, it's like you know you're gonna die. You're consciously, you know that you're about to take your last breath. You pleading for your life and shit. You pleading for help because it's a life or death situation with that Mercury conjunct Pluto and Virgo. So here's his chart. Unfortunately, I don't have his birth time either, naturally. But there's that Mercury-Pluto conjunction right there. That right there, again, him pleading for his life. Him being trapped in the car, the windshield at that. Being neglected with that opposition with Chiron and Pisces. Being ignored. So here he is right here. Gregory Glenn Biggs, August 16th, 1964. I already mentioned all this. So his South Node at the 29th degree of Sagittarius, you know that 29, I talk about high pressure situations, things that can be destroyed, things that can go crash, things that could explode, things that could just be catastrophic. And that 29 often produces conflicts with women as well. Now with Sagittarius, that South Node, 29th degree of Sagittarius, could produce a problem with walking, but it just deals with the theme of him walking, period. Also, the theme of his legs sticking out of the car and matters of justice. North Node at 29 degrees Gemini, the car itself, him being hit by a female driver going head first into a car because the 29th degree can deal with head injuries. His Mars conjoining Venus in Cancer, voila, the race theme right there. And that could just produce problems with women, conflicts with women. It can manifest as a domineering or selfish woman. Also, this just points to problems with housing or him trying to search for a home or even search for a homeless shelter. Again, the race theme is coming into play. And Chante is a Cancer. So you see how it lines up? He's a Leo and she got Mars in Leo. She's a Cancer and he got Mars and Venus in Cancer. Can't make this stuff up. All right. Here's the car. So it's not that easy to see, but you can see the windshield busted in like that. Of course, this is once they removed his body from the car, and you see these little orange things, which is showing that this is evidence. But yeah, and she had this in the backyard. So she even really tried to hide her tracks. But this just shows you how the soul works. Because the soul knows what you need before you know as a conscious human. So it's like the soul knew, okay, this bitch got some hard lessons to learn. She's going to have to be sloppy with trying to hide this evidence, tampering with the evidence so that she does get caught up out there. Because she's liable to do something else that results in somebody else getting killed if she doesn't get caught out there this time around. So here is their two charts put together. So Gregory's Pluto in square with Shantae's Mars. I told y'all before, who had that in their signature? I can't remember offhand. Was it dealing with Selena? I think it was. I think Selena and Yolanda, they had that Mars square Pluto in their synastry. And it shows up here in the synastry between Gregory and Chante. So her Mars squaring his Pluto, that's her basically causing his death. And then let me see what else. No, I'm sorry, that's his Mars squaring her Pluto. Because her chart's on the outside. Which is even worse. Because this is him basically struggling and her basically, well, I'll say allowing him to die and trying to cover her tracks at his expense, basically. So her Mars is conjoined to his sun. So that's like basically her hurting him in some type of way, my bad. And also her just having this real selfish intent towards him that, again, enable her to just overlook his well-being. And that Mars conjoined to the sun again, kind of like, that's like her basically laughing about her killing him, and especially because he was white. Because this is like her actually being kind of proud. Or you could even just say entertained or amused by it. Because why would you laugh at something like that unless you could say that was a nervous laugh? You know, some people will laugh out of nervousness. Siobhan said, it's the fact that she bragged about it for me. Exactly. And that's how you know she's a sociopath. And that Moon square Saturn, especially with Moon conjoined to Chiron, points to that. So they had the murder aspect in, you know, with their synastry with Mars square Pluto. Let me see what else was going on. Her Saturn was forming a quincunx with his South Node. So she's activating his karmic debt. And again, it's like her trying to get attention at his expense by bragging about that shit at the party. Her North Node is conjoined to his Neptune, reinforcing the death theme, but especially the neglect theme that led to his death with his Neptune being involved. Let's see what else is going on. Her Mercury is opposing his Moon, and that's also dealing with her hitting him with her car while he was walking. Her Neptune is conjoined to his Moon, so again, that's the neglect. That's her basically acting like he doesn't even matter. Her fear overtaking her need to come to his rescue. So with Neptune on his Moon, that could deal with either she could come to his rescue or she could totally neglect him and act like he's not even there or he doesn't even matter. So she chose the latter. Instead of coming to his rescue, she decided to just act like he doesn't exist or that he didn't matter. She became totally negligent. Well, not even negligent, neglectful on purpose. And also her trying to hide the body or just dumping him somewhere in that park, basically. Her Neptune is squaring his Pluto. So again, his Pluto and Mercury. So again, that's her neglecting and ignoring his pleas for help. This man, they said that he was pleading, he was crying for help. She actually said that he was. And she would come back into the garage periodically and peek in and apologize and say that she was sorry. But she wasn't really sorry, because if she was really sorry, she would have called 911. Even if she waited a while, you would have thought she would have came to her senses and called 911. Their Venuses are conjoined to each other. That's interesting. So that race theme again is resurfacing with that. Their Venuses on top of each other like that. So here she is. She wanted to get herself a ponytail. I guess this was sentencing day. I guess she wanted to go to prison looking a little spiffy so that she could link up with one of the head studs up in there and make sure she get all the cakes, cookies, and pies she need. I gotta commend her on picking the right color ponytail, though. That matches her real hair pretty damn good. But yeah, she did need a little help in the hair department, so she tried to come correct on that last day. Now, I don't know if that's actually the sentencing day, but I'm like, yeah, I think it's quite funny that she decided to do her hair, really, make it look better on that later on in the court case. You said, no, man, with the ponytail, right? I'm telling you, she saw herself on camera a few times and she was like, oh, shit, I'm looking kind of raggedy. Had to get herself a ponytail real quick. Mom had to smuggle in a ponytail. You said yes, color number 4. Jupiter Going Wild says Chante deserves the death penalty for killing this man. That's a good question. We should take a poll on that. Because I don't know if she deserves... Okay, for what she did, I would say yes. I'm already going to say yes. Because what she did was cold and callous and totally selfish. And again, like Gregory Biggs' mother said, those drugs wore off by the time she woke up. Like, this bitch actually went to sleep with that poor man stuck in her windshield. And she woke up in the morning, and that's when she called her thugged out friend or whatever, and they go and try to dispose of the body and all this type of stuff. So she knew. And she worked in the field of healthcare before, so she already know the dire circumstances afoot. And what does she do? She just ignores this man. She neglects him. She's hoping he dies quickly. That alone right there. And then the fact that she laughed about it at a party, that's where I'm like, yeah, you qualify for the death penalty. So for those that believe that she deserves the death penalty, press 1. If you believe that she just deserves a long prison sentence, press 2. She was sentenced to 50 years. Keep that in mind. All right, we'll say this. Press 1 if you feel like she deserves the death penalty. Press 2 if you feel that she was given the right amount of years in prison, 50 years, that sentence. Press 3 if you feel like she should have been given a longer time, like life in prison. Kauai is saying 2. Callie is saying 1. New Eyes 111. Amira 2. Siobhan 1. Moonlight Orange 1. Overpriced Kitty 2. Miss Lady J 2. Jupiter Going Wild 1. Tyrell 2. Roma 2. Long prison sentence with shit food. Kingston said Uno. Kauai said 3. Amira said 3. Gym Girl 2. Natasha said 3. So yeah, I would, and again, I say death penalty because of the circumstances. If she really would have came in a remorseful state instead of bragging and laughing at it at that party, I would probably gave her the 50 years. But the fact that she was so callous about it, and again, the fact that she could lay her head down at night and she probably had a big bowl of cereal in the morning, in addition to the scrambled eggs with cheese and the toast with the strawberry jam and the bacon and the waffles. I bet you she had a good breakfast that morning while that man was dying. Because again, all this bitch cares about is herself. And you know she was the type of kid that was hiding food in her bedroom. Don't she look like the type of kid? She probably was hiding food in her dirty ass socks. You know, them Hostess chocolate cupcakes with the white little squiggly lines. They was probably all smashed up into her socks, hoarding food under her bed and shit. Cookie crumbs all inside the bed. She look like that type, don't she? Always bringing extra snacks to school and stuff. You know, it starts with the parents sometimes. She was probably one of them babies that was crying all the time because she had cancer. And mom probably constantly gave her food to shut her up. And then she used to hide food, sneak food out that refrigerator. Oh, that's my, this is cherry Coke, but I got plenty of root beer too. Sometimes I like to mix it up. But it's actually homemade cherry Coke because they be running out at the store that I be going to. So I'll have to get regular classic Coke and I'll get my maraschino cherries and pour some of that cherry juice in there because I'm a Sagittarius and I got to be extra like that. But anyway, yeah, so you know she was the hoarder type of child. So she been lying all her life. She been hiding shit all her life, trying to get away with shit all her life. She like the, what do you call it? The cat that ate the canary. She that type. Talking about, no, I didn't eat it. I didn't eat it. I bet you she's gotten into trouble a few times in prison for stealing food and shit. And you know she's on that kitchen detail so she can get the extra mac and cheese and the extra spaghetti and the extra garlic bread and all that type of stuff. You already know it. I'm about to get me a snack too, New Eyes, because I'm about to get out of here pretty soon. So we're almost at the end of this. So here's the car accident date, October 26, 2001. Saturn, and this is just a transit chart. So some of the factors, look at that. North Node, 29th degree of Gemini. That lines up right with Gregory Biggs. He was going through his lunar nodal return when he was killed. Look at that. Saturn, 14th degree of Gemini. 14 reinforces the demons of Gemini, but in a very discordant way, and it can produce challenges with movement. So the fact that he couldn't move and just the car accident in and of itself. Mars was at the 29th degree of Capricorn. Let me see. And that can deal with issues with discrimination that was going down. All right. Chiron conjoined to the South Node can point to some issue with some pedestrian. And this happened in Fort Worth, Texas. Around this time, this happened around 3 a.m. in the morning. I have it about 3:54 a.m. Virgo rising with the ascendant squaring Pluto. Interesting. All right. And here's how it lines up with Shantae's chart. So on the day that this happened, Pluto was conjoined to her Neptune. That's like the demons creeping in, taking advantage of the fact that she is inebriated. Also, what was going on? The sun was right on her Uranus in Scorpio. So her coming face to face with death. Mars was opposing her Saturn. Neptune was opposing her Saturn as well, but that was really wide, so that really wasn't coming into play. She was going through some heavy transits, like with Neptune squaring her moon, but I don't know how close that is because I don't know what degree that moon is at. But that can deal with where she was partying pretty hard, like getting drunk quite often or just getting real smashed around that time. And she might have been dealing with some serious emotional problems around that time. And that could have led to her drinking heavily. Uranus was opposing her Mars. And that could deal with the issue, the upset, the shocking situation involving the man, Gregory. And also her being very indifferent to a man's plight with that opposition. Let me see. Saturn was opposing her Neptune. And Saturn again being in Gemini. That's the car situation, especially with her being drunk. And let me see what else I see. Mars was forming a quincunx with her sun, but it was approaching. So that's pointing to her working with her male friend, trying to get rid of the evidence, trying to clean up her house and all that type of stuff. All right. That is Gregory's brother, I think. Is that his son or his brother? Might be his son, because his son was the one that made the statement. But basically, he forgave Chante for doing what she did. So again, with Big's transits, he was going through his nodal return when he died. And with Sagittarius, South Node, him being hit by a car while walking. With the Gemini rules cars, Sagittarius deals with walking. Transiting Mars in Capricorn was forming a quincunx with his Gemini North Node, and it was exact because Mars was at the 29th degree of Capricorn. So this is him being hit by a car, legs being stuck outside the windshield with his torso being on the inside. So he was also going through his Pluto square Pluto transit. So that can manifest as a major midlife crisis involving, why did I say overlooked? When it came to, that involving his health, his ability to live, or you could even say a near-death situation or where his life is being threatened. But also this deals with him being overlooked when it came to his pleas for help, his pleas for assistance. Mars in Capricorn, Sesame Square, Pluto, being in abject fear of dying. Transiting Chiron in Sagittarius, quincunx, Jupiter, and Taurus, major wounds to his legs, unable to get free. Transiting Jupiter in Cancer, trine Neptune in Scorpio, taking that final journey. A lot of times, positive Jupiter transits will coincide with the death of somebody because that is representing the ultimate journey. So I saw this when I was looking at images for Chante, and I found this to be interesting because somebody had touched on the whole racial thing. And it says, why is it a hate crime only when the victims are either a racial or cultural minority? So this person was looking at this as a hate crime. Now, I wouldn't qualify this exactly as a hate crime because she didn't purposely set out to kill the man. But like I said, I feel that she was negligent or neglectful mainly because he was white. I think she would have had more compassion for a person of color, especially if they were black, as opposed to the white man. Like she saw this homeless white man stuck in her car, and she didn't have any type of empathy towards him or sympathy. And basically that's that. So I hope that y'all have gained something from this. I think somebody sent me a cash app. Let me see. 666, Sally. You over there sucking on Satan's Johnson. What's all this 666 about? All right, so Lee, you sent me a cash app first. So let me see if you posted your question. No, you didn't post a question, so you could post it now. Lee, thank you for your cash app. Post your question. And then let me skip over to Sally. Did you post a question? Sally, please post your question as well. Thank you for your cash app. You the one with the 666. 666 murder Jesus. Remember Jay-Z, they found out Jay-Z said that when they did the backmasking or they did the reverse. Jupiter going wild saying, moral of the story, stay far away from drugs, alcohol, pills, and psychotic people. She's somebody that really needs to take that advice because, again, with that Mercury opposition Neptune, She's just not safe when doing a lot of drugs or alcohol. Thank you, Shia, for your super chat. While I'm waiting for the other two ladies to provide their questions, I'll just get to your. Oh, wait, here goes Sally. So you said my finances, Mars and Gemini. I got Mars and Gemini is in my first. And my Mars is conjunct his natal moon in Cancer in the second. He used to stalk me and said, now that we have a child, he doesn't have to. Oh, you said fiance. I thought you said finances. See, something's happening with my head. Okay, you said fiance. Why I say finance? So you said my fiance's Mars and Gemini is in my first. And my Mars is conjunct his natal moon in Cancer second. He used to stalk me. Now that we have a child, he doesn't have to. So what's your question? So what's your question? Are you like, you gotta post a question like what you want to know about that. That first house Mars can be problematic. I really don't like when planets end up in a person's first house in synastry, because that can mean that they wield too much control and influence over you, or they're stuck up your ass, or that they might try to make you responsible for their happiness or their livelihood or their whole existence and all that type of stuff. Now, I'm not saying to drop the dude, but just know that sometimes you're going to have to struggle to be your own person and to stand up for yourself with his Mars in your first house. So you said, I wonder if there's a tendency to get violent if I break up with him. His Mars in your first house in Gemini, at that, he could put his hands on you at some point. So I would just expect that could happen, but let me pull a card and see. Oral, I'll get to your question in a minute. So let me see if there's a tendency for this dude to get violent. I got the Three of Swords. So just like you said, he would probably get violent if you broke up with him, because basically you're like his life force with his Mars in your first house. So that's why it helps to have a healthy distance from him starting now before he gets too attached to you. I don't know how long y'all been together, but yeah, you gotta be careful of that. All right. So Sally, I got you. And then there was Lee. Lee, post your question when you get a chance. All right, Chaya, let me get to you. You said, hey, Ra, I am in real doubt if I should start this year with my master's social work or next year, September 2023, and will I succeed and get my master's degree? So first you said you're in doubt if you should start this year with your master's of social work or next year in September 2023. All right, let's see. Should you start this year or next year for your master's in social work? Shantae Mallard could have used a social worker when she was coming up, probably. Maybe she went up, did what she did. So I got the Page of Swords, which means that you want to wait till next year. I just have a feeling you're not in the right frame of mind to be starting this year anyway. And you did say you have real doubt. So there it is right there. And then you said, will I succeed and get my master's degree? I got the Page of Cups, which means that you could dilly-dally when it comes to getting your master's degree. You could take a longer time than what is necessary. So you need to really ask yourself, is this something you really want? Is your heart really in it? Because that could be why you're having this doubt at the moment. All right, where are you at, Lee? Good night, Jupiter going wild. All right, Lee, I'm waiting for you. Oral, let me answer your question. You said, hey, Rod, can you pull a card for what unique talent or powers I have? All right. it started to get hot up in here. Oh, y'all, I blinged out my microphone, so I am planning on showing my face very soon, and I'm gonna show y'all my body with clothes on. That is, so I'm getting things ready. Like I got my microphone all blinged out. I got some lights, and I'm thinking about getting a better camera. I got the King of Swords, which is intuitive and telepathic powers. So definitely hone in on them more. You can even do like things to try to test yourself. I'm going to tell you a story. And this is something that you can do too. Because this freaked me out when this happened. And I can't remember. Okay, I think it was the color orange. But I was doing something dealing with like learning about magic rituals and stuff like this. It was some book I got this from, or some, maybe it was a website. And the guy, he was like a magician, and he said that when you set your intention, test it out in the universe and see if the universe is going to send you a sign that you're in tune with the energy, with the flow. So, oh, and this had to do with writing sigils. That's right. Sigils are these magical symbols where it's dealing with a word, but then you basically structure it where it doesn't look like a word anymore and it looks like this mystical symbol. But anyway, so I created my sigil, and then I had to say, okay, in the next maybe 3 days, when I go to the store, I'm going to see a woman with orange shoes on. I think it was orange, maybe it was purple, but it was a weird color of shoe that you wouldn't see normally. So I kid you not, it was like 2 or 3 days later, I go to the store and I see a woman with, it was either orange or purple shoe. I think it was orange. And that blew my mind. So you can start doing things like that just to test your powers and to see how in tune you are with the ether, with the universe, which is what that King of Swords is basically representing. I hope that helps. All right, Roma, thank you for your super chat. Oh, no, I didn't get that. Actually, you send me an email, or email is always better because texts get lost with my phone. But yeah, just send me an email because I respond much quicker to emails. And a lot of times I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. But where are we at? Roma. But wait, I'm looking for Lee. Lee, did you post your question? Lee, if you come after this live stream, just send me your question to my email. All right, so I answered Chaya. Roma, so you said, thank you for your super chat. You said, I am thinking about reselling books and other items on eBay and Marketplace to help save money for my move next year. Is this a good idea? Oh, another thing about my phone. My phone is real old too. Last time I got a new phone, I think it was like 2015. And I do not want to buy a new phone, but it has very low memory. And I know I'm gonna have to break down and get one, but I hate buying new phones because I hate having to switch all the information over and all that stuff. And I don't want my cell phone bill to go up, but it will. Or I could just pay for it in cash, but I don't want to. I don't really like phones, but I have to use phones for work and all that. But yeah, that's another issue. My phone don't even store a lot of information, so I have to delete a lot of stuff. So is it a good idea for you to sell items or books on eBay and Marketplace to help save money for my move next year? Is this a good idea? Okay. Now, these books, are you talking about like rare books, high-end books? Because some books, they fetch a lot of money. But, you know, it might be few and far between. Now, I got the deaf card. So it's not a good idea. You're probably not going to really make much money at all. You're not going to see much action. So it would help to come up with another business idea or hustle. Hope that helps. Thank you, Kawaii Honey. You said, what does North Node in Aries in the 5th house? Oh, I think you messaged me about this. I'm sorry I didn't get to you, but that's the thing. And I was telling myself the other day, I was like, because I be really getting hard on myself sometimes, because I'm like, I be getting so many messages and it's hard for me to keep track of them all. And then I'll go through this thing where I just be cleaning out my inbox and stuff, and then I'll be seeing stuff. I'll be like, shit, I totally missed that. So I do realize you had sent me that question. So it's good you're posting it here while you have me right here. So you said, what does North Node in Aries, 3 degrees in 5th house, 5th house in Pisces in 14 degrees, opposite Mercury in Libra, squaring net. Come on, Kawaii Honey. You might as well just order a natal chart. Like, for real. Because this is a bit much. All right, let's take it one piece at a time. So you said, what does North Node in Aries in the 5th house? So when you have the North Node in Aries in the 5th house, number one, you have to be your own person. You have to basically determine what your individual strengths are. You have to be more daring. You need to be more risk-taking. You need to be more physically active. Maybe start playing a sport or just getting out and running, and do things that are pleasurable too. Also, it would help to be more spontaneous sexually as well. So you said your North Node is opposing Mercury in Libra, and Mercury is conjoined to that South Node. So this could produce issues with you having a mind of your own and you being able to defend yourself when people put you on the hot seat or when people just challenge your viewpoint or whatever. But you always have to make sure that you're not just attaching yourself to other people's ideas, other people's plans. And you'll probably see or notice that you'll go through this back and forth. Sometimes you're really being your own individual, and other times you're being more of that people pleaser with the Mercury and Libra. And then you say you got Mercury square Neptune in Capricorn. Well, you need to probably put the bottle down because it could be getting to be a bit too much. No, I'm just playing. But that can produce addictive tendencies if you're not careful, that Mercury square Neptune. It can also cause you to be negligent in some ways, forgetful in some ways. You might have a hard time just maintaining commitments in certain areas of life. Also, this could produce a tendency towards dishonesty, but it might be dishonesty because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. Might be that type of dishonesty. Then you also got Mercury squaring Chiron, and then in the 8th house. So that could produce issues with the learning process. It can produce issues with communication. You see how you posted this and it's all jumbled up like this? And I have to really like pick it apart. That's that Mercury square Chiron Gemini all day. So just learning how to, be a more effective communicator, I'll say. That is a lesson to be learned with that. But that can also deal with cases of verbal abuse as well. And then you said North Node square Neptune. That can produce issues with employment. You might feel like you have to just settle for certain jobs that don't really fit your personality. But Kawaii, I strongly suggest if you have all these questions about these aspects in your natal chart, just get a natal chart reading. Or if you don't want to get a full natal chart reading, get an astrological profile. Because then I'll be able to really like look at your chart as a whole and really see how things are playing out, because that's a lot to try to just, tell you everything that could happen with this without looking at your chart. And so I can see like how things really line up. But hopefully, I gave you something to go off on. All right, where are we at? I think I got a Cash App before YGP, but thank you so much for your super chat. And actually, I'm not going to be on too much longer. But did Lee post her question yet? So I don't think I got another Cash App. So let me get to yours. You said, hey, Ra, haven't heard from an Aquarius guy for a few days. Is he well, and will I hear from him soon? Also, how will the last half of this year go for me at work? And can I trust my Capricorn colleague? All right, will you hear from Mr. Aquarius soon? Best way to deal with Aquarius is to act like they don't matter. And then they'll start being more closer to you and attentive. So look like he's really going about his business right now. Now it does look like you will hear from him, but give it a few more days because he's really just doing him right now. And then you said also, how will the last half of this year go for me and work? And can I trust my Capricorn colleague? All right, let's see. How will this last half of the year go for you at work? I got the 5 of Cups. That don't look too great. So you might be dealing with some issues. It could even be a change in management. It could even be some issue dealing with a coworker. So it's interesting you said, can I trust my Capricorn colleague? Because that 5 of Cups can deal with where you feel betrayed or you feel like somebody has done you dirty. So let me see if you could trust this Capricorn one. Well, I don't know if it's a woman. I got the 10 of Swords. So that's making me think she could be a backstabber. She probably gossips a lot. So no, do not trust this Capricorn colleague. All right, hope that helps. And you know, Capricorn in the workplace, some of them can be brown nosers. Some of them might, snitch on you because they think they're going to get some brownie points from the boss. But yeah, with that 10 of Swords, it's like she runs her mouth. I would not tell her much. You said your nodal returns next year? Okay. Well, I can even do like an individual nodal return reading for you so I could tell you what you could be in for. So let me know if you want something like that. You can message me again in Patreon. I said I wouldn't trust a Capricorn at work. Yeah, sometimes you gotta be I'll just say it's good to be guarded at work, period. You're welcome, Chaya. It's good to be guarded at work, period. Sometimes getting a little too chummy with people at work can backfire. And that's the Capricorn in me too. Like, I'm like, I came here to work. I didn't come here to make friends. Now, if we happen to be cool with each other, that's all good and well. But don't be expecting me to hang out with you after work and we go into the bar and all this type of shit. I'm just going to see if I missed any super chats before I get out of here. But I hope y'all enjoyed this case study. And this is a lesson in where always try to do the right thing, even if you screw up. Because a lot of times you can always make the situation worse by being dishonest, by freaking out instead of acting rational. And again, her being a Cancer had a lot to do with it because, like I say, you don't share a world with Cancer. You become absorbed in a Cancer's world. Sure, Siobhan. You said, can you pull a card on if I'll get a new car this month? Yeah, I remember you were thinking about that. You mentioned that in Patreon. All right, let's see. Will you get a new car this month? I would think that the prices of cars are starting to go down because I heard the prices of homes are starting to go down. Not a lot, but a little. So hopefully you'll get a good deal. Let's see. I got the 4 of Wands. And that's like you going to the car dealership. But you might still want to hold out for another month until things get even better. Because the Four of Wands, that's like you're at the car dealership, but you're not really driving away. Like, for me to say, yeah, you're definitely going to get a car this month, I would want to see something like the Chariot or the Wheel of Fortune. But the Four of Wands, that's like you being at the car dealership, but maybe you don't like exactly what they're selling or the interest rate or whatever. I'll say this. So you said these prices are ridiculous. If you can hold out another month, isn't September a good month to buy a car? For some reason, my memory is telling me that some people have said that September is a good time to buy a car because they usually have a lot of sales because they're trying to get rid of their inventory from the previous year or from that current year to bring in the new models. Actually, I'm going to pull a card and see if you should wait till September. And I think that's it because I'm going to get out of here after that. Oh, Sandy just sent me a Cash App. So I'll respond to your question in a minute. All right, let me look at September for you, Siobhan. So you think it's either September or October? September looks much better for buying a car. So if you could hold out till September, because I got the Six of Pentacles. If you could hold out till September, that would be better for you than getting a car this month. Good luck. I hope you get something nice. All right. And then we got Sandy. You said, for how will my date go on Monday? Thank you for your Cash App. So you want to know how this date will go on Monday. I love it. I'm excited for you. But just don't have too high of expectations. Because after all, we are dealing with a mere mortal. I got the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups can mean that you're in for a different experience. And it might be in a restaurant or a setting that you're not familiar with. And you might feel like, this person is some shit that you're not used to. I'll say that. But you might also feel a spiritual connection with them. But I will say the Eight of Cups may not be such a good sign that you're really going to feel that you've drawn closer to this person off of this one date. Now, it could also be that this person invites you to go hiking. Maybe y'all do that before dinner or something like that. Or y'all spend some time just walking or whatever. So with that Eight of Cups, I would say just don't have too high of expectations. Might even feel like leaving before the date is over. Let me stop. But yeah, you actually could get a little weary of this person. Like you might feel like they're talking about themselves a bit too much. And you might be like, okay, I really don't want to really put myself into this situation. Let me look elsewhere. Because that Eight of Cups can mean that you're looking elsewhere. But I will say this too. The Eight of Cups can deal with where if you haven't been dating recently, like if it's been a while since you've been in the dating game, that Eight of Cups can mean that you're returning to the dating game and it might be a little awkward for you. It might take a while for you to really get back into that swing of things where you're sitting across from somebody and they're looking at you and you're wondering if they're looking at a piece of food that's on your face. I can't stand like first interactions with somebody that, potentially could be romantic. I hate that awkwardness. I just want to skip right to the sex. I'm like, sex is one of the best icebreakers there is. But I know I shouldn't say that. But that's how I used to think when I was younger. I'm like, what better icebreaker there is but to have some good sex? Let's have sex first, then we get to know each other. That is horrible. This is why I never been married with this type of mentality. But it's all good because obviously that wasn't part of my destiny. And I wasn't the type to just jump into bed with anybody, but y'all kind of know what I mean. I wasn't the type that'd be like, I'm going to make him wait for 6 months and make him take me out on these dates and make him buy me dinner and a pair of shoes. And I've always wanted the sex as much as the guy did, sometimes even more than what he wanted. Him wanting it. I guess I'm just like that with my masculine energy. Oh, Lord. Okay. I can only take a few more. So I already did Sandy. Sally, please post your question. Thank you for your Cash App. And I think there might be... And did Lee post her question? Amira said, same though, or drink it together back in the day, no more awkward. It was just easier when you were younger. I feel like when it came to meeting people, when it came to like hooking up with somebody, it was just easier. You didn't have, I feel like when you're younger, you're not as uptight about things. You're more agreeable. All right, Sally, thank you for your Cash App. You said, what do you think of a mom's Libra sun opposing her daughter's moon and the daughter's Aquarius sun opposing mom's moon? So with the mom's Libra sun opposing their daughter's Aries moon, there might be a struggle with the mom thinking she knows what's best for her daughter. She may not trust her daughter's decision making or to be left to her own devices. She might try to even pick out a mate for you or try to, tell you about the type of mate you're supposed to attract. She might really want you, to see you get married and all that stuff, but you might want to stay single, so that could be an issue. And you may feel like you're being compared to other people too much when it comes to your mom. Also, you said, and the daughter's son opposed. Well, I don't know if this is, you're just saying in general, I guess, of a mom. You're not saying my mom. Daughter's son opposing mom's moon. Well, that can deal with a lack of closeness. That can even deal with there was some period of separation between the two of them. It can also deal with where the Leo mom with the moon, she might come across as a little childish at times, and the daughter probably has to feel like she has to be the rational one, the one that, is going to basically tell the mom everything's going to be okay and don't worry and all that type of stuff. Not really wanting to be involved in the mom's drama. And this can also deal with where mom might not really be displaying of love and affection on an individual level towards that daughter. So I hope that helps. And then let me see, do I have anybody else? Because I'm about to slip out the back door before somebody sends me another Cash App. Oh, so that's you and your daughter's place. Okay. So just know that you may have an issue with just trusting to leave her to her own devices. You might try to make too many decisions for her, even when she's old enough to make her own decisions. Even little stuff, Sally, because I'm thinking about this. Like, let's say your daughter is 6 years old, right? When she turns 6 and y'all go out shopping. And you're like, you could get anything you want from this clothing store. And she picks out this sweater that's all, got these multicolors and all this type of stuff. And instead you're like, well, I think this looks pretty. I think this looks better on you. Wouldn't you rather have this? Like, you might do that with her. So try not to do that too much, because she might end up, keeping things from you even later on when it comes to decision making and stuff like that, because she might feel like you're going to override what she wants and how she feels like she wants things to go at times. Yep. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, send your question to my email. And that includes any diggable planets that might have posted a question and I didn't get to you. So here's my email. And then consider signing up for my Patreon. I started a good series recently, and my patrons, they like it. Some of them, I guess. And it's called Face Reading. So I post a picture of a person and I ask for people's input on what they think about the person's face, what they think their astrological makeup could include, and then I provide a reading dealing with who they are and stuff. So far, I've done Dr. Grande. Some of y'all might know who that is. He's a YouTuber, he's a therapist. I also did Jaguar Wright. And recently I did Howard Hughes, and I'll be doing the next one very soon. And I can't wait to do that because this one is going to be juicy. So I got some more coming up. Also, if you would like me to do a case study on a certain person, whether it's a celebrity, infamous person like a criminal, or it could be even somebody in your family, but it has to be, they have to have some type of sob story or some type of tragedy happen because it needs to be interesting. They could be downright evil too. The darker the story, the better. You can send a payment of $45. That would be your sponsorship, and I will put together the astrological case study. Already I've gotten like 3 requests. I think I've gotten 4 requests so far for astrological case studies where they've provided the sponsorship and all that. So we got some good content coming up. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for a live stream dedicated to Leo season. And again, I hope you enjoyed this astrological case study. Everybody, take care, stay cool, and have fun. All right, take care. Peace. Love y'all.